Hi there, this is Anthony Metivier from magneticmemorymethod.com. I am super excited to let you know about a new challenge that I'm doing with card memorization. Invite you to take the challenge with me, and if you do, then I'm going to give you some tips in this video about how to memorize cards better. Now, I'm using a set of obstructions, which I'll tell you about in just a second, in order to really make this a much more powerful challenge that's going to have benefits that will last for a very, very long time in all areas of memory. Before we get into that, I want to thank everyone who's a current masterclass member at magneticmemorymethod.com for upgrading to the mastermind and getting the Magnetic Memory Live videos that we recorded last July in London. This was an absolutely fantastic event, and your postcards from where I am now in Edinburgh are on the way just as soon as I get this video done up on YouTube and out to the post office. But I'm really, really grateful that you did that because it's fantastic to have you, and I know it's going to help you a great deal. Now, I'm using obstructions in this current memory challenge. So without obstructions, normally what I would do is put these earplugs in. They are custom made for my ear. I highly recommend that you get custom made earplugs because not only are they good for developing your concentration when you are memorizing something, but they're good for just walking around the streets. I mean, the world has become so loud, and this morning I was eating breakfast, nice power protein-packed breakfast, having to do with some supplements that I'm taking, digestive enzymes, to see if I can get a advantage with my memory. And so I'm sitting, and people are blabbing about nothing. And I hope I'm not blabbing about nothing right now, but the whole point being is that you just can drown some of that stuff out and get on with your life, but you need really good custom fit earplugs so they're comfortable and you don't even notice they're there. It's good for concerts, etc., etc., and they're good for increasing concentration while you're memorizing stuff, right? It doesn't matter if it's cards or foreign language vocabulary and so forth. Really, really reduce all distractions. I mean, you can put blinders on if you want. You can put sunglasses on, whatever helps. But here's the thing. Those things are crutches. And you don't want crutches at the end of the day. You want to be able to memorize under any condition, anytime, any place, no matter what is going on. You want this. You want this. You want to be at a party, at a concert, there's loud noises going on, and you want to be able to focus, concentrate, and memorize as many names as you want to, for example. So I was talking to Nelson Dellis the other day, who is a USA memory champion and a competitor in different parts of the world, and he's just really, really awesome and inspiring. He has climbed Mount Everest and memorized cards at different altitudes to test how that works, underwater, all kinds of things like this. And this really inspired me to add obstructions to my own memory work. So what have I done? I have memorized cards on a train with loud children and had Slayer playing on my headphones really loud. So, this kind of thing. Now, what I like about it is that there's lots of different kinds of Slayer songs, like... Anyway, I'm not going to play you a bunch of Slayer, but the whole point is that every song has a different rhythm, right? And I think it's unique to Seasons in the Abyss, which is the particular album that I'm using, is that each song is rhythmed quite differently, different speeds, different patterns, and so forth, and I don't think other Slayer albums have that. The point is not Slayer. The point is that it is an obstruction. It gets in the way of concentration. It gets in the way of focus. It gets in the way of my memory palaces, my associative imagery, and those cards that I want to memorize. So this is training me to overcome that. It's the equivalent of perhaps having weights on your back when you're doing push-ups. The other obstructions that I've worked with have to do with chewing something in my mouth when I'm memorizing cards, or drinking coffee, right? Which is something that I didn't normally do for a long time. I started when I was in Italy at some point and never thought about using it as an obstruction for cards, but your heart starts to beat and you get that coffee niceness rushing through your system. This I consider an obstruction. So putting all these things together, like drinking bulletproof coffee, which I started to do, which I highly recommend trying, it's really great, is an obstruction. Doing it in a loud cafe is an obstruction. Doing it in a loud cafe with traffic going in front of you in the streets, cars honking, buses idling, people walking past, some of them very nice to look at. And, it's just absolutely a fantastic way to get in your face, to absolutely annoy yourself while you're trying to focus on memorizing cards. And this is really, really powerful exercise. It is so much more powerful than isolating yourself with earplugs in a quiet room and getting yourself down to whatever speed that you want. So I'm normally between just under 4 minutes or 3 minutes 52 seconds, but usually just under 5 minutes is my average, I would say. 4 minutes 47 seconds average. But putting these obstructions in place, I was shocked when I first tried it to have to take almost 15 minutes to memorize a deck of cards because of kids running on the train and having Slayer on my headphones. And, just, wow, I was shocked. I'm in a hotel in Edinburgh. Forgive the interruptions of noise. People are awake doing stuff. But I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked. So I thought, I have to practice this. I have to be able to memorize a deck of cards in order to do it anywhere, anytime, under any conditions. And one of the reasons why is not because I want to go compete in the World Memory Championships or anything like that, although you never know. The thing is that I like to use cards for magical routines, but normally I use a pre-memorized deck. I false shuffle. I teach false shuffling in my card on how to memorize a deck of cards, but I want to actually be able to do it in front of people in real time and not take minutes and minutes and minutes to do it. So that's what's behind this challenge is, can I get down to memory champion speed card memorization in front of people's eyes so I can legitimately memorize a deck of cards in under a minute and be able to incorporate that in a magic show in a way that's entertaining, that has drama, has theater, and does not involve having the deck pre-memorized, legitimately pre-memorized, not a stack like so many other magicians do, but a legitimately memorized card in real time, legitimately memorized deck of cards, not a card. That's pretty easy. But yeah, so this is the goal. This is why I'm doing obstructions. So it literally is like wearing a backpack full of concrete on my back and doing push-ups. So I invite you to give this a try. Now, I said I was going to give you some tips, and here are those tips. You need to have your associative imagery really, really aligned with the need for speed. So there are some images that I use that are really fluffy, really not concrete enough. They need to become concrete. So for instance, the 9 of clubs for me used to be the leap, and I just was fine with that. That didn't bother me at all when I have no obstructions. Once the obstructions come, it's too abstract to have a verb as an associative cue. It just does not work. It doesn't work. It just gets in the way. It is in itself an obstruction. So you want obstructions in your environment, but not in your associative imagery that you use to memorize the cards as you're placing them in the memory palace. And so I changed it to Jennifer Lopez. So it's still that using the major method, which you can read about on my site. Just click this button here on the screen, major method. And so now Leap has become Lopez. Also, I used to use Jim for the King of Clubs, and that's still cool because I would see Gold's Jim, but it's just such a massive image, a Jim. So I turned it to Jim Carrey, and I will compound it so he'll be Jim Carrey in a gym, and so you don't need to see an entire gym or Gold's Gym sign. You just see him pumping weights or whatever the case may be. Just to stick with the clubs, the Queen of Clubs used to be a chain, and that is okay, but it's just a thin chain of steel. So I turned it to chins, double chins wrapped in chains, and it's specifically that fat bastard character from the Austin Powers movie. So he is wrapped in chains, and so that just makes it much more immediate, concrete, and so much easier to use. And I highly recommend that you do this with your associations for each card. Go through them, make sure they're super concrete, make sure they pop really, really effectively into your mind, and add obstructions. Now, you could do a Nelson Dellis thing and go climb Mount Everest. I think that'd be awesome. Or you can just come up with things like doing it in cafes, on busy streets, in parks. Maybe you go to a Metallica concert or a Slayer concert and memorize the cards there. But the number one tip is to make sure that your images are not fluffy, that they're not waffly, that they're not brittle or fragile or fall apart or based on verbs or anything like that. You want them to be huge. You want them to be completely memorable in and of themselves, because you're going to want to make a huge blast in your imagination so that you can recall them very, very quickly. Now, in the week since I started, I went to just under 15 minutes to just under 10 with 98% accuracy. So I'm still making some mistakes here and there, but over the period of the challenge, I'm going to try and get to under a minute. And at its ultimate zenith, at its highest point, what I want to be able to do, and I don't know if it's possible, but why not give it a try? I mean, I am taking digestive enzymes right now as part of a diet and doing all kinds of exercise, lots of memory experiments going on at the same time. What I want to be able to do is actually talk while I'm memorizing cards. Now, wouldn't that be cool? Talking while memorizing cards. Now, you can count cards while talking, and there are certain ways of doing that. So if you are riffling through cards, showing people cards that a deck is completely shuffled, you can talk and count cards at the same time. So my question is, can I memorize cards while talking at the same time? That's the challenge. Those are some of the things that I'm working on. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you want to follow the challenge, click subscribe. Feel free to comment on the thing on this video if you are going to take the challenge yourself. And whatever, get in touch. Come take the free video series on magneticmemorymethod.com. You won't regret it. It's going to teach you a lot, and you'll get a memory kit and all kinds of stuff. And later, after you watch the videos, I'll send you some podcasts, and we'll have lots of fun. Okay, so this is Anthony Metivier from magneticmemorymethod.com. One last thing I shouldn't forget. If you're going to memorize cards, get a deck that you find beautiful and aesthetically pleasing. The deck that I use is the Archangels. I really love these. They are really beautiful. They feel so nice in my hands. And look at the Jokers. Oh, that's the advertising card. Look at the Jokers. That is phenomenal, my friends. I love it. I love it so much. So get a deck of cards that you can really enjoy handling, because that's going to make the memorization experience so much more fun. So if you have joined the Magnetic Memory Method Mastermind and gotten the London live videos, postcards on the way, and we'll talk very, very soon.